Hey Grade 12s, in today's video we're going to check out question 9 of the Grade 12 Chemistry Paper 2 Gauteng 2025 Prelim. It is the last question where we're looking at electrolytic cells. So let's jump right in. So question 9 says, impure copper is refined using an electrolytic process as shown in the diagram below. Okay, so 9.1 says, define the term electrolyte. We'll break that down just now, but what we have first, based off of our galvanic cell from the previous question, is we have an ox and red cat. This still occurs in this section. By that, the anode undergoes oxidation. Oxidation is the loss of electrons, okay? And reduction happens at the cathode. Reduction is the gain of electrons, which means that if we're gaining electrons, we're going to be more negatively charged because we have more negative atoms. And if we are losing electrons, we're going to be more positively charged because we are losing more negative atoms. Okay, all of this is exactly the same as a galvanic cell. The only difference is that in a galvanic cell, our anode is negative, but in an electrolytic cell, it is positive because we have conventional current, which means that the cathode over here is usually positive, but in this scenario, it is negative. We'll break down what this means because the whole function of an electrolytic cell is to use electrical energy and convert it to chemical energy, okay? Which means that as we can see here, we have this external circuit over there, and we have our positive terminal here, which means we are flowing this way, flowing over here, and then going this way back into our negative terminal of the battery. That means we are using electrical energy to create chemical energy. By that, in this scenario, we'll be refining impure copper, and often we're usually using this to coat something over here. Say now there was a ring over here, and we were trying to coat it in gold or copper, then this reaction would take place, and we would flow over here, and solid copper would coat this ring over there. So all of that being said, it means that our conventional current tells us the direction that we're going in because we are using electricity to create chemical change, which means that if we're going to break down the cell over here, the anode is at the positive terminal in this scenario, which means we have a positive terminal of our battery over here, which means our anode is positive over here. And this means this is our negative cathode in this scenario. So we have cathode over here, we have anode over here, and this makes a lot of sense for us because the anode has to undergo oxidation. So we've got oxidation is loss here, which means we want to lose electrons here, and then reduction is going to take place, or the rig is going to take place at the cathode because we want to gain solid metal over here with the idea of coating it or taking the pure copper and attracting it to this electrode so that we can then take it out of this beaker and use it for whatever we need it for, which means we have now oriented ourselves in the circuit. And let's check what 9.1 is saying, because it says define the term electrolyte, okay? A 2-mark definition referring to the electrolyte, the solution inside of this beaker. And an electrolyte is a substance whose aqueous solution contains ions and can conduct electricity, which means we might have like Cu2 pluses inside of the solution in this aqueous solution, and because it's a Cu2 plus instead of just a normal Cu like this, therefore we have electrons in the beaker as well, and these electrons can conduct electricity, and that would earn us 2 marks over there for 9.1. And then 9.2 says name a suitable solution that can be used as an electrolyte in this process. Okay, so we just mentioned something about Cu2 plus, but we cannot just put Cu2 plus into the solution because we don't find Cu2 pluses in nature by themselves. By that, we always come from some sort of compound, and the compound that we're dealing with is CuSO4. Okay, we are going to have to name it, but SO4, like in the previous galvanic section, is a good spectator ion, okay, which means that we have SO4 over here, it has a charge of 2 minus, we have Cu over here, it has a charge of 2 plus, and they come together to form CuSO4, okay? But what happens is that in a beaker, if we put this CuSO4 in there, it will break off and dissociate, forming the Cu2 pluses and the SO4 2 minuses, okay? Which means we then have what we want, the Cu2 pluses, especially in this scenario where we are refining impure copper, and then we'll have the Cu2 pluses inside of this beaker, which means name a suitable solution that can be used as an electrolyte. We can just go ahead and write copper 2 because it has a charge of 2 in order to be balanced, sulfate, that being the spectator ion that will then break off and not get involved in the reaction. And this would earn us 1 mark over here. And then 9.3 says write down the equation for the half reaction taking place at the anode. So here we have the anode, we have an ox, so oxidation still occurs at the anode, which means if we want Cu2 plus and we want to lose electrons, we are going to use this guy over here. Our Cu2 plus 2E minus goes to Cu over there. We just need to arrange it correctly because oxidation is the loss of electrons, which means that we're going to have Cu, and then we need to lose electrons. So that's going to break off and form Cu2 plus over there as our ion and 2E minus over there as our electrons that we have lost. So this is just finding this on table 4b like we just did and writing it with the correct orientation of losing our electrons on the right side. And we know this because oxidation happens at the anode just like it does in a galvanic cell, because we want to lose electrons and copper so that we can ultimately coat it on this metal rod over there. And if we drew arrows going both ways, that would lose a mark, and if we drew it with the arrow going the wrong way entirely, that would lose both marks, so therefore we just earned 2 marks over there. And then 9.4 here says a precious metal such as silver, so we have Ag over there, which is usually part of the impure anode, sinks to the bottom of the cell. Okay, so it's part of our impure anode and it sinks to the bottom of the cell. Explain this observation referring to the relative strength of the reducing agents. So right now it's saying, why does Ag sink instead of also actually being oxidized and reduced on the electrode over here? So why does it sink, and why does the Cu2 plus in fact get oxidized and reduced? So if we go ahead and look here and we compare our copper to our silver, we can see that copper over here is 0.34 and we have our silver over here as 0.80. And as we move down the table 4b, we have increasing oxidizing ability, which means it is more likely to reduce. But if we're moving up, it has an increased reducing ability or is more likely to oxidize. And what we're looking at is the fact that we have the Ag dropping down from our anode, and therefore it is not oxidizing. Our Cu2 plus is oxidizing because our Cu2 plus is higher up the table with a lower electrode voltage over here, and therefore it is more likely to undergo oxidation. So it is all about where it is located on table 4b and which one has a greater relative strength to act as the oxidizing agent of the two. Okay, so we write silver or Ag is weaker reducing agent than copper, and therefore silver or Ag will not be oxidized at the anode. Okay, and this would earn us 3 marks over here as we establish that Ag is lower down over here. It is a weaker reducing agent because reducing agents oxidize, and therefore the copper will be oxidized at the anode and the silver will not, and therefore it will float down to the bottom just like they mentioned in 9.4. And this used the relative strengths from table 4b to explain it in terms of reducing agent ability. Okay, and that would earn us 3 marks over there. And then last question for this paper, 9.5 over here says after 10 minutes 1.6 grams of pure copper is deposited on the electrode. Okay, so we have pure copper that is being deposited on our cathode over here. We have 1.6 grams of pure copper, so no ions and there's no silver mixture. It is just the copper that has been lost from this electrode or from our beaker that is then being coated on our cathode over here. Okay, calculate the number of electrons, okay, that flowed through the circuit while this mass of copper was deposited. So earlier we wrote down our half reaction taking place at the anode. We can rewrite that or write the version at the cathode because reduction is gain of electrons, which means we have Cu2 plus 2E minus, and that'll form our Cu over here. So with electrolytic cells, we will oxidize and reduce the same element because we are breaking off copper inside the mixture, and then we want to gain that copper on the other electrode, on our cathode over here. So this will be our cathode, this will be our anode, and we are undergoing the same process. Oxidation is just happening at the one electrode, and then reduction is happening at the other electrode. But what this means is that if we are going to do some sort of molar equation over here for this one, we have 1.6 grams of pure copper that was delivered on the cathode. We want the number of electrons over here. We don't know how many electrons we have over here, but we are in an equation where we can get to moles and then work with the moles in this equation to calculate the number of electrons that we need. So if we just go ahead and write N equals M over capital M over here, we have 1.6 grams is the amount that has been deposited, and we end up having 63.5 grams per mole of copper on our periodic table. We can just go ahead, plug this in our calculator, and we'll have 0.02519 moles over there. Okay, which is great for us because if we have the moles of the copper over here, we can do a molar ratio of 2 for our electrons to 1 over here for our copper that we actually deposited onto that electrode. And as we can see here, there's a 1 in front of our copper. So 1 represents 0.2519 moles, which means we just have to to multiply it by 2 in order to get this one over here, which means that we have 0,05039 for the amount of moles of the electrons in this beaker, which means that we aren't very far from our last equation, because what we have on our formula sheet is the amount of electrons or the amount of atoms, because a formula that we don't use very often anymore is the moles equals the amount of atoms or particles over Avogadro's constant, okay, which is also on our formula sheet here, which means we can just go ahead and rewrite this formula where we have N equals capital N over NA, and if we're going to rearrange it, we want capital N by itself, so we have the moles multiplied by Avogadro's constant, and the moles that we just calculated was this one over here, the 0,05039 that we have for the amount of electrons after we did our molar ratio, and then Avogadro's constant on our formula sheet is 6,02 times 10 to the 23, and this is our final move, because here we're going to calculate the amount of particles or atoms, or in this case the number of electrons that flowed through the circuit or the mass of copper was deposited, which means we have 3,034 times 10 to the 22, a large number because there are many electrons over there, and that would be our final answer over here for 9.5, earning us 5 marks for this question, 13 marks for this whole section, and 150 marks for this whole paper. Great job, guys. Let me know if there are any questions in the comments below, and then I will see you in the next video.